Right, this is it. This is the car we've been driving the last 3 years. The big one. Oh no, wait, hang on. This isn't it. Right, this is the Range Rover Vogue supercharged long wheelbase. The big dog, the big kahuna, the most expensive Land Rover out there. And I haven't driven it. Time to fix that, I think. So this is the long wheelbase version of the Range Rover. Land Rover says it's 20 centimeters longer, giving you 18 centimeters more knee room, and it doesn't spoil the looks. I tend to disagree. I don't think it looks as good as a regular Range Rover with the extra long doors, but really this is a car for the Chinese market and the people who like to be driven around. I don't, but some people do, and for them this is better than S-Class really. Now you can't move the seats back and front, but you can recline them a bit more, and they are the same fantastic seats you get in the front, the thrones as it were. What's notable about this interior is, well, how quiet it is, and secondly, no DVD headrests. No screens, no iPads, no nothing as a matter of fact. Nothing to distract you from the sensation of being really, really comfortable. These blinds go up and down when you press these buttons. And the only other toy you get is a button to open the sunroof. Overall, a great place to be, and frankly, better than S-Class. So the lovely folks from Land Rover have given me this fantastic Range Rover long wheelbase SE for a few days. I thought I'd give you a bit of an idea of what it's like to live with one of them. This car's pretty expensive, 605,000 dirhams as it sits, 580 starting, so not cheap, 5-litre supercharged V8 of course. So today we're going to be looking at what it's like to park one of these things, and as you can tell, there's not much space to get into the car. Don't be fooled by the camera angle, it's actually pretty tight in here. So grab the keys, keyless entry of course, the electric steps, let's do that again just so you can see it. Quite nifty. Yeah, so I can just about get in here fairly easily. However, since I'm not especially wealthy, this is the gap between the Landy and my Wrangler, so you probably can't drop that tailgate. I'm not even sure I can squeeze through here. Okay, we squeeze through. And look at that. Zero chance of getting into this car. Zero. Let me try. Okay, just gently leave it resting against there. And even if I breathe in, I am not getting into that car. So yeah, guess I'm going to need to move to a bigger villa. And let's talk about going out to the front. Ooh, that's tight, just about. So that's the Rangy. Great if you are very, very rich and have a very, very big house. So today's video comes to you from inside the Range Rover, which honestly I think Land Rover have just forgotten about. Today we're taking a look at the HVAC system. I'm just going to turn it on. Lovely digital dials, a recreation of the classic analog ones. They look very simple, very crisp, very clear and easy to understand at a glance. A lot of people complained about ACs of Land Rover products in the past. This one's actually pretty good. I just normally leave it automatic. I left it on manual here because it's loud otherwise. It is very, very powerful and cools this big car pretty effectively, even this heat, no problem at all. Less impressed with the infotainment system, which is the same old JLR one. There's a new InTouch system, which is much, much better, a much more modern Windows style. But this one is very slow, very basic. It's got all the squares. It's not very attractive or very intuitive to use. And the sound quality is only okay. You know, with this 17-speaker Meridian system, you need a lot of fiddling to make it really sound perfect. This is the way I have it set up. A lot of bass, a lot of treble. That's the worst thing I can say about this Land Rover. Otherwise, it's pretty damn good. Well, what makes the Range Rover such a design icon? Let's take a look at some of the classic design cues that make it so. Starting with that clamshell bonnet, of course, with the flanks and a valley in the middle, which of course gives a really nice viewpoint from the driver's seat. Then the driving seat position itself, you sit quite upright, quite high, literally higher than everything that's in traffic, so you literally feel like the lord of the man. Of course, you rest your arm there. Everything is perfectly laid out to make you feel like you're in charge and in control. The body, of course, doesn't have any unnecessary design elements. There's just this rather superfluous gills that I've added this year, or actually since the beginning of this model of Range Rover. It's not the greatest, but apart from that, it's a very, very smooth body, which is unusual today. And of course, the tapered bum with the legendary split folding tail, which I'm going to try to open. Hey, look, I managed to do it. And of course, the idea behind it is, of course, you get huge space, especially with the wheelbase version, but you can sit on this tailgate and have your picnics. So that's the Range Rover. Let's see what else we can do. So hello and welcome aboard the Range Rover long wheelbase, all 605,000 dirhams of it. I'm going to take you a little drive now and try to explain to you why this car has really turned me around, because when I got it, I didn't think that it would be honestly very good or worth the massive price tag. But after spending the best part of a week and most of it with this car, I'm really impressed with it. So let's take a little bit of a drive. And before I do that, I just want to show you a little bit the interior and why it's so special. Of course, you've got the command driving position in front of you. You've got this beautiful wooden steering wheel and a big Range Rover badge. Very modern, very crisp, and of course, the excellent armrest. I mean, technically the armrest is down here, but everybody keeps their arms up here because that's what you do when you're a snob, and snobs buy Range Rovers. Generally, it's a great seating position. You can see perfectly out the front. You can see everything in every direction. Visibility is excellent, really thin A-pillars, which I adore. And the AC works magnificently, in case you're wondering. In the previous video, I have mentioned that the air conditioning on this car is superb. Unbelievable if you consider how bad Range Rovers used to be. But the only thing I don't like is this right here, the rotary controller for the 8-speed automatic. It works, but you know, I'd like a good shift knob. And all this stuff down here, this is the terrain response stuff, obviously the different programs that you can access. Winter, ruts and mud, that's what this is. And sand and really bad off-road. All of this is here, but all of this is better just left in automatic, because that's all the car needs. It's a nice place to be. It's pretty comfortable, and really once you sit in one of these things for a while, and the seat, oh my god, the seat, of course it has air conditioning, of course it has a massage function, but unlike the German cars, there are novelty gimmicks. Those aren't the point of that, isn't the gimmicks. In this car, it's just being in this thing is such a serene experience. There's lots of traffic going past, you can see it, but I can't hear it. The ride, it's superlative, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's take it for a bit of a drive. I'm going to put it in D, and if you notice, most cars just go straight into D. There's no chance of it going into sport. And we're away. Driving this car is very much like driving a Rolls Royce. And that might seem like a really, ballsy statement to make, but I'm going to quantify it. A Range Rover is very serene, very comfortable, and reminds you constantly that this car is really about being luxurious and isolated with lots of space in every direction, free of the concerns of lesser mortals. And a Rolls-Royce is much the same way, except about twice the price. This is basically a bargain Rolls-Royce. A Rolls-Royce is all about being quiet, composed, comfortable, and having immense amounts of power at the twitch of your right foot. And this is the same. This car has, a 5-liter supercharged V8, 503 horsepower, I could be wrong, probably more. I think 510, my apologies. And you know what? It drives just like the Rolls-Royce. It doesn't accelerate in a hard charging way. It actually builds speed. You can feel the front lift like a motorboat or a Riva speedboat if you're thinking along those lines. So it's very, very similar in that once you're in this car, it's a sensory deprivation chamber. Now I can see on the dashboard in front of me, it's 44 degrees. It's really hot and humid outside, and I know this because I just filmed the bit outside the car and it was really nasty. But inside here, things are quiet, things are comfortable. There is no stress, nothing to annoy you apart from the stereo if you want to really, because the stereo really is annoying. It took me a long time to get to the settings I liked, and even then, despite all the 17 speaker Meridian Jazz, you know what, it took a lot of fiddling and I'm still not perfectly happy, but it's good. It's got a lot of power, but it doesn't have that kind of clarity. It was a bit muddy, but by cranking everything up, it's a lot better. I don't think the stereo is a highlight, which is surprising when you're paying 605,000 dirhams. I mean, come on Land Rover, get it right. But apart from that, the drive of this car is really why you do it. It takes away all your stress, all your worry. Imagine you've had a long, hard day at work, you've been through a lot of meetings, because let's be honest, you own the company, and then you come back and you just want a car to take you home in absolute solace and comfort. Now, if you're very, very rich, that's a Bentley and you're sitting in the back. But if you're not so rich, you're in a Rolls Royce. No, actually a Rolls Royce is more expensive. That just sounded stupid. A Rolls Royce is more expensive than a Bentley. But if you're a lot less wealthy, if you're like the CEO, but not, the chairman of the board, you have a Range Rover. And the Range Rover is great because it's not shouty. This one's in pretty much Miss Me black. But this car is anonymous, and in a good way, because in Dubai there are millions of Range Rovers, millions of them. And they're all very, very popular. For a reason. which I didn't understand till now, in that real money buys Range Rovers. Real money. Real money drives a car that's pretty quiet but carries subtle overtones. You drive this car on Sheikh Zayed Road, nobody flashes you. You can sit in the leftmost lane all day long. Nobody's going to flash you. Nobody's going to ask you, what are you doing there, like you were in a pedestrian TIDA. So what's it like to drive the Range Rover a few days? I mean, obviously I've been brought over by the fact that, it's really freaking nice. Let's talk about more mundane concerns. Petrol consumption, I hate to be so mundane. 140 dirhams will give you about 500 if you're really, really light on your right foot, and a lot less if you're not. But generally, it's not as bad as I thought. Compared to like a Nissan Patrol, which was the boss's car back in the day, that is terrible on gas. The new one's a lot better, of course. But this one, pretty economical. I blame the 8-speed, because the 8-speed is just magical. It's annoying how good this gearbox is. Put your foot down, just goes. Seamless, absolutely seamless. You can't feel the gear changes at all. Yes, the car lifts up, but there's no, look at that, it's going through all the gears, and now that it's sensed that I want some power, it's dialing back very slowly. ZF 8-speed, best automatic gearbox on the planet. What about the handling? Well, if you again put it in sport mode, nothing happens. It just holds the gears harder, etc. And these paddles are here, but who's gonna paddle a Range Rover? Come on guys. But it's a very, very predictable car. You punt into a corner, the nose washes wide, it understeers pretty safely, the brakes are really good. I mean, obviously it's about 2.5 tons of car to stop, but overall it's a predictable car. You know what you're getting a Range Rover. What you're getting is a big fat boat, an elephant with style. Things I don't like. These glove boxes are annoying. There's one's way down too low, and then they have this other glove box which can hold some CDs. That's a bit pointless. Dust gets in, and basically, it's a lot better than the old Landies, because the old Landy used to let so much dust in, but this one has been sitting outside for a few days, not much, but dust looks terrible. And this car looks terrible if it's dirty. I have a little experiment. I've been driving around and not washing it, and while people still get out of your way and stuff, you know what, you feel bad. You feel bad when you're in your Range Rover and it's filthy. So, and when's the last time you saw a Range Rover and it was dusty? My point exactly. Other than that, this is a really nice car. And is it worth 605,000 dirhams? This is more a question of, do you want the long wheelbase car? In the regular Land Rover, Range Rover, it's not lacking in space in the back. So this is for the Chinese market, let's be honest. They want this kind of space. I don't think we need it out here. So the regular Range Rover is more than enough, and that's perfect. But if you had this car, would you mind? No, I don't think so. I think the Range Rover is such a comfortable car that whoever you take in the back will be more than happy to have 18 centimeters more leg room. Such a nice car. I can only describe it to you as, no, I won't use that example because that's probably not fit for the internet. But let's just say it's the most pleasurable thing you can think of being done to you by the most pleasurable person you can think of. That makes sense. It's just such a wonderful place to be, and all Range Rovers are like that. Well, not quite. You see, we did the Sport a while back. I drove the Sport, and that was supposed to be the car that everybody went gaga over. It was the real sporty car. And I drove it, and while, yeah, it can do it, it cooked its brakes. And I wasn't impressed with that smoke pouring out of the dashboard from the brake system. So I wasn't convinced by that car. I thought Land Rover got it wrong. And with this car, I fully admit, I thought Land Rover got it wrong. I thought they changed the shape. They've made it ugly now. They've made it modern, whatever that means. But you know what? After driving around with it, damn if they haven't got it right. The Range Rover is still very much a Range Rover. And the one thing it's built to do is cruise. So if you're going to Abu Dhabi and back, perfect car. Absolutely perfect car. So comfortable, flows down the road beautifully, complete isolation, hyperbaric chamber. It's probably sterile in here. And if you're having friends in here, it's amazing. What the Range Rover allows you to do is free up your mind, because it takes care of all the driving. I mean, this is basically an autonomous car. It has, radar, cruise and all of that, and I'm sure it's not that far away from being able to drive itself. But it frees you to think, because we're not being hassled by the road users, we're not being hassled by other people. you are actually free to drive and enjoy yourself. And when I say enjoy yourself, you declutch your mind from the world around you, and you can just think. Think about happy things, think about bad things, think about the things that matter to you. And you can only really do that in a car that has luxury and understands luxury. A lot of the Japanese competition don't get this. They put a lot of buttons here and there, a lot of gizmos. BMW's gone the same way with the 7 Series. And it's all too much. It's flashing warnings at you. Look, there's a car there. This car's got blind spot monitors, but you'd never know it. It's got cross traffic alert, but it's very subtle. It stays out of the way. But modern cars that feel really eager to tell you, oh look, I've got all these functions. Yeah, I'll remind you about them constantly. This car gets out of your way and just drives along. And the ride doesn't upset you. It's not bobbing up and down. I have a Wrangler. I drive up and down this road. It's bumpy. Bump, bump, bump. Don't like it, even with my fancy racing shocks. But the Range Rover just smooths it out. And then you always have the reassuring thing about Landy that you can always take it off-road. You know, the sand there, no problem. They developed it in the Middle East, for goodness sake. I mean, they actually have a secret test center in Dubai, in Barsha, near Discovery Miracle Gardens, in case you're wondering where to find the new secret Range Rovers. It's just an excellent place to be. And I fully admit that I was wrong. Yes, it's a lot of money, but if you can afford it, don't think of it as an expensive SUV. Think of it as a cheap Rolls Royce. The cheapest Rolls Royce you'll ever buy, and the fastest way into luxury. That's it from me, Imthishan. I hope you've enjoyed watching this little drive along. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and all the rest, and I'll see you next time.